Hello, guys. Welcome to the Black Spin Global Podcast. I am Lucy,
I'm Eugene.
and welcome to a brand new episode. Today, we'll be reviewing the Australian Open with the one and only Christian's Court. Hi, Christian.
Hi. Hi, Lucy. Hi, Eugene. Thank y'all so much for having me. I've been a big fan of Black Spin Global for so long, so it's really an honor for me to be on the pod. So I really appreciate
Oh
it.
no, I appreciate that,
Thank
man.
you.
We should also address you by your full name, I think, Lucy. So it's
I mean,
Chris.
it depends if it's there, if he's okay with that.
Nah, I'm good with it. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay. I mean, we don't know.
I mean, it's there on the call. I mean, but yeah, no, fair play. But so it's
I mean, that's.
Christian. Is it Basnight?
Yeah, Basnight.
Basnight. Okay.
I
And
mean,
yeah, like Lucy said, it's Christian's court on the socials.
yeah, it's a brand name. Christian's got a massive platform, and I definitely want to shout you out. Like, your content is great. I definitely have like a great community, and obviously, a lot of the guests that we've had that are in the industry, our listeners are quite familiar. So I would actually love to get a couple of minutes and just for you to introduce yourself and how you got into like tennis content and where you are today, because again, I mean, your subscribers on YouTube large, you're nearly about to hit that 10K on IG.
Crazy
Hey,
numbers.
Mm-hmm.
crazy numbers. Christian would tweet one thing and boom, numbers are up. So yeah, how was that? How's that journey been for you, and what actually made you start this? Because we definitely need more people like us in tennis media.
Facts.
Yeah, definitely facts. I actually started pretty young with my tennis content creation journey. Actually, when I was like 9 years old, actually, is when I made my very first YouTube video,
Wow.
and it wasn't quality at all. Like I was just chatting about like my first video was like a Victoria Azarenka video, but I was talking about Serena in it because like I was a big Serena fan, so I was like, I can't wait for Serena to come back. But I was making videos and just talking. Again, the quality wasn't that great, but I returned more professionally in 2019 just because I was kind of bored and I wanted an extra hobby. And I'd also been playing tennis at that point too, but I wanted to reignite my tennis content creation. And I've been doing that at a higher level for the past 4 or 5 years or so. And last year, I kind of rebranded from I was Grand Slam Tennis News Today, but that name was just too long. I didn't like it. So I feel like Christian's Court is a little bit better. But yeah, and I
Mm.
was also telling Eugene before we recorded that I had the opportunity to intern with Tennis Channel in the
Oh
summer of
wow.
2023, and that's
Yes, I
when
remember that.
that's when I interviewed Coco, and I think that whole experience kind of solidified that I want to do this like as a career for sure. So
Mm.
that leads me to now, and hopefully I'll have another opportunity to do what I do on a larger scale.
That's great.
No,
How was that
amazing.
internship with Tennis Channel?
It was interesting because it was unpaid and I had to go to California, but luckily my
Oh wow.
college paid for it. Yeah.
Oh,
And I guess I did a good job because the social media manager, she hired me to like for a position and I did that for like 2 months, but I couldn't take it because I had to start senior year. So overall, I'd say it
oh,
was a good experience, but
yeah,
yeah,
Why didn't they
yeah.
have to relocate? That's pretty intense.
yeah, it was definitely.
Well, at least you had that experience, and it definitely helped you, with your brand and where you are today.
Hmm.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm hopefully looking a lot more things from you. Like I said, we definitely need more of us, either more
Yes.
younger people, more black people, more non-white people in their major conferences, a little bit of mix. But
Yes.
yeah, yeah. So hopefully get that. But today we're here to review the Australian Open. And boy, oh boy, the Grand Slam champion. I mean, it's safe to say not a lot of people expected this, but we'll take it. Because one thing I always say on the pod is we always leave with something. There's always a little something. We always leave with
Always
something.
something.
And that is Madison Keys, who literally grabbed that title, rightfully so. Played an incredible tournament, played so well, an incredible final. Shout out to the lady, shout out to both her and Sabalenka for playing such a great final. And she secured her first Grand Slam, a Grand Slam that anyone who's been a fan of tennis the last couple of years, like her or not, you know that she deserved that title. But yeah, she's on a currently 12 match winning streak after winning Adelaide. If you remember, we mentioned that she won Adelaide. And coming into Melbourne, wins that just like her season, like 14 wins from 3 events, which is great. And she had a very interesting route, very great route. I know there's been a lot of discussion about easy draws and that. No comment. But round one, she had Anne Lee. Round two, she had Elena Gabriela Ruse. That was a very great match, very intense as well. Round three, she had Daniel Collins. Shout out to Collins and her haters in Australia. Round four, she had Elena Rybakina. Round quarterfinals, she has Elena Svitolina. Shout out to Svitolina. That match she played really, really well as well. Semi-finals, she played number 2 Iga Swiatek. Very intense match as well. And the final, again, defending champion, we had Sabalenka in 3 sets. Guys, what are your thoughts on Maddie's run? Yeah.
Christian, you go first. So, yeah, like what did you make of Madison Keys?
There's so much I have to say about this. Before her going deep really wasn't a surprise to me because I had her finishing in the semifinals before the tournament started. And I was close to having her win it all in my preview, but then I knew she went deep in Adelaide. Of course, she won that title, and I know that she's been injury prone. She's susceptible to, injury. Of course, she had that really rough moment at Wimbledon last year against Paolini. So that's kind of what kept me from having her go all the way and expecting more of her. And then two, during the tournament, as you mentioned, she had that tough second round against Gabriela Ruse. And after that, to be honest, I kind of doubted her prospects of going all the way after that because it was a tough match. And I knew she had already had a lot of mileage on her. And for her to dispatch of Collins, who was playing well at the time, 4-4 in straight sets, and then the great win over Rybakina. And the Svitolina win impressed me too because after she lost the first set, there's a theme. I hate to say it, but unfortunately, I was doubting Madison Keys throughout this tournament, and she proved me so wrong because the way she turned that match around, and then the Swiatek match, man, oh
Crazy.
my gosh.
Crazy.
I know it's premature for me, but I feel like that's going to be my match of the year for 2025 because the amount of roller coasters we got and how clutch she was. That's the big thing, just her being clutch, especially in that semifinal against Swiatek. First, her coming back from 5-2 down in the first set, even though she didn't win the first set, her coming back from that deficit was huge and giving her the confidence to be able to serve more consistently and run away with the second set. But then, of course, in the deciding set, all the break points she faced, I believe at one point she was love 40 down at a pivotal moment and came up with some incredible shot making. And then even in the tiebreaker, she was down multiple mini breaks and was still able to come out on top. And considering too the amount of I guess mental scar tissue with her and big matches, especially the last semifinal she played at a slam against Sabalenka, she was up 6-love, 5-3, wasn't able to come out on top of that. And so for her to put that behind her and go all the way, I have no words really to describe it.
No,
And honestly, you're not the only one who had that were doubting her and everything. And I don't think she even takes it personal. I think it's kind of everything that's been happening and stuff. But yeah, you're not a lot of people are just it's weird. It's they doubted her, but at the same time, it was we're not surprised because you deserve this. You've worked hard for this and you've had incredible matches. So yes, sorry, Eugene, cut you off.
No, I think everything you said, Christine, it's spot on. I appreciate your honesty as well, saying that you kind of had written her off after the second round, kind of because she kind of scraped through against Bruce. But I feel like with Keys, going into any event, and she's kind of said this since, she's always going to be a contender. She's always going to be one of the favorites just because of her game and the way she plays. And one thing I was saying to Lucy, during her run was as she was getting deeper and deeper, I was like, you know what, this feels like destiny. And also her game, she's a big hitter. Now, when you look at the top of the game, it's the big hitters that are dominating. Sabalenka, Rybakina, Swiatek can hit big, but really it's, you know,
She's a
Rebecca.
strong hitter. She can
Yeah,
hit
but
strong.
it's Rebecca and Sabalenka are the power hitters.
100%, 100%.
And for
Yeah.
me, that's a prototype or kind of imitation of Madison Keys, because obviously she came before them. Obviously she's only 29, but in tennis terms, that is like older. But just the timing of everything, like it just feels so right. And I'm just so pleased for her. And I think the whole kind of tennis community is also pleased for her. Like no matter if you're a fan or
Yeah.
just a fair weather, like I don't know, you don't really care about Madison Keys, but you're happy that she won a Grand Slam. Like
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it just feels, yeah, it just feels right.
Yeah.
Lucy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, honestly, like even it was nice seeing. I mean, there were some people that were moving weird, but we're not focusing on that. But it was the first time where in a
Wait, like,
very
you
long
can't say
time.
who was moving weird. Like you
I,
can't
you know
just
what?
come out with a
I don't like
statement
to
like
give,
that. Like
I don't like to give little, attention to some fan groups that, they'll be making bare noise when there's something happening. We're celebrating Madison Keys and they're bringing up mad stuff. But if my fave is being beaten, yeah, and then by someone who ends up the tie, I'd be hating a little, so I can
oh
understand.
so you're talking about Iga Swiatek fans?
I don't even know what you're talking about, mate. But as
Oh,
I was
Lucy.
saying,
Oh, Lucy.
listen, my mentions were already moving mad. Like they were already coming chatting to me. I was like, listen, I don't have your time. I'm busy celebrating Madison Keys. But as I was saying, it was the first time in a long time that I saw there was so many people happy, like about, I think that it was a mix of two. It was the fact that we not only we got a great final, we then got someone that, everyone was actually happy for. Like there's some people that literally said, like, man, I'm not even a Madison Key fan like that, but I'm so happy to see her, winning this and getting it. And yeah, honestly, it's just been, I think that off season, whatever she did during that time is just that really did help her. But the one thing I've always said about Madison Keys is that she just needed a little bit more dog in her and she will get it. And that's how she played at the Australian Open. Like she was hitting in different ways. Like even in a press conference, she talked a lot about, having to she knew she had the power, but she just wanted to hit with more power. Whenever I used to watch her play, I'm like, I know you can hit harder than this. I know you can whack that ball. And, she changed her racket. She changed, like, her mindset. She was aiming for, like, her serves this tournament. So great. Like, literally, they were always higher, like, at the end of 80 something percent to 90 something. Like, it was just powerful. The way she was, and the thing is, as well, is like, you have to serve, she's hitting with a lot of power. And one thing about Keys, she already has so many, she's great with corners. So you have all of those things, great mover as well. Like she had to defend a lot, especially on the match with Sabalenka. It was just, everything was just tick, 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 tick. And it was just like, this is just great. But I think for me, what I love the most is just seeing that run and then her winning that title. It was one of the most impressive runs like ever. You already had tough opponents, then beat the number two who was number one for so long. And, she was even like, I think not a lot of people had Iga as their favorite to win. And no disrespect to her, it was just like a lot of people were focused on Sabalenka and so on. But as she was going, it was like,
coming into the tournament. No, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. And
But
then as she was just
she
going,
played really well. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like, wait, hold on, Iga might actually win this title. Who would have thought Keys would be the one be like, not today, actually. Who would have actually thought? But yeah, do you guys have like any matches that stood out to you beside the final? I know, Christian, I'm guessing for you it will be the semifinals.
Yeah, the semifinals for sure. Like that'll be forever ingrained in my mind, and just the reactions of like when she actually won it. Like I've never reacted to a win like that. I was like jumping around the house. Like it was a lot. Um, but also her quarterfinal win, like I said, against Svitolina was impressive to me, and just
Yeah.
how she was really able to turn that around. She was a little bit error prone in the first set, but how she was able to reel it in and rein it in, I think that win was integral in her like giving her more belief that she could go all the way and win that title, because that was a tough match for her. Svitolina was playing really well.
She was. What about you, Eugene?
Yeah, I'm gonna go the final, like recency bias, whatever. But yeah, I just feel like that there were so many kind of different parts to it in terms of like, yeah, she was leading. She was what 5-2 up, 5-3 up in that first set, and then she got pegged back. But then she managed to basically hold on and see it out. And then the second set completely changed.
Yeah.
Credit to Sabalenka because she kind of switched up her tactics, and like kind of just changed things up a little bit. And I think that did kind of throw Keys off for a while, but she regrouped in the third, and then again it was a tight set, like
It
back
was a
and
tight.
forth. But again, what for me that epitomized Keys this tournament, because she just kind of stayed true to the way she's been playing throughout the whole tournament in terms of like just committing to her game style and like not being passive and just like saying I'm going to go for this, and it paid off.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
it's a, you know, she deserves a lot of credit. Like tennis players, obviously, like they're taking big chances all the time because you know you want to go for your shots, but then also you do maybe find yourself sometimes in a match where you're, I don't know, you just want to stay in a point, so you're just going to, I don't know, be passive and just get the ball back in. But that's not in Keys' DNA. Like she wants to dominate, and that is exactly what she did in that final. And I just tip my hat off to her, man, because that for me was, so far this season, obviously we're only what three events in, but that was my match of the year so far.
Yeah, no, a massive, 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 massive congratulations to Keys, and
What
also
about
to her
your
team.
match? What match stood out for you?
This is. I'm not gonna lie. I might be with. I'm stuck between. I'm stuck
It's
between two
tough.
matches. It's tough. I'm stuck between her round two. That Roos match was
Okay.
very tight, bro. It was very, very tight. That or the Iga match. But the reason why I'm going to say Iga is because of who Iga is. Like, we're talking about someone with three Grand Slam champions. Three Grand Slam? Four?
I want to say
Four.
four.
She won
No,
5 actually.
but wow. Whoa.
I know.
Come,
Four at Roland Garros, 1 US Open.
no,
That's
come
true.
through,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. You see? Five. Five of that. I mean, I know I was definitely 100% hands up. I was 100% one of those people that was saying she had an easy draw. It is what it is. She did compared to some players, but still, when Iga needs to level up, she will level up. At the end of the day, she literally had a match point that match, like, but
Good point. Yeah, that's a good
it is
point.
what it is. You can't take that away. So it was,
Right.
yes, we can say it's an easy draw, which I think a lot of Iga fans will not understand where we're coming from. It's just like, yeah, we get that, but it doesn't take away the fact you look at the run that Keys had or others had compared to Iga was still a bit different, but she still stepped up what she needed to. She had that match point, but she couldn't convert it. So I'll say probably Iga, probably mainly because of who Iga is, top player.
That makes sense.
So because of that, but honestly, it's between that and Roos. But I had no doubt that the final will be banging. Sabalenka is a great player to watch. She might give you some headaches, but she is a great player to watch. Defending champion. It would have been nice for her to get a free peat. Um, but that was a little bit hard. But shout out to the girls for giving us such a great final. Women's tennis wins again. Some finals can't really relate. No comments. But as we talk about one champion, we speak about two other champions, Taylor Townsend and Katerina Siniakova, women's doubles champ.
Siniakova, Lucy. You have to put some
Siniakova,
respect on her name.
yeah, sorry, Christian. By the way, I butchered the names, bro. Like, I'm very sorry. It's just like a little heads up. It's not easy for me. Sorry, guys. I'm bilingual. Go easy on me.
Show off.
But yeah, this is Townsend's second major title. This is Katerina's 10th title. But this is
Insane.
just crazy. But it's a second as a pair. So really great to see them together. Obviously, they won Wimbledon together last year when Taylor won her first one. They had such a great run. I'm not going to read all the names before I butcher more, but I do want to give a shout out on this semi-finals match. That was, I think it was like they did that for Olympics, right? Schneider and Andreeva. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they finished silver at the Olympics.
Yeah. So that was in 3 sets. I was looking at that. I was like, whew, this is actually very interesting. And then in the final, they had Ostapenko and the one and only Shuei, 3 sets as well. But yeah, shout out to the girls. Um, what was really great is that when she won Wimbledon, she actually won that in juniors doubles as well. And coming in Australia Open, she won that junior singles, when she was 15 years old. And now fast forward to today, and she has won that as an adult as well. Which is just so great. So great. What did you guys think of the part of the run and Taylor and Katerina together?
I'm not gonna lie, I only watched the final. I didn't watch any of the previous matches in
To be
terms
fair,
of their
the
run.
doubles matches were always in like crazy times and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
fair enough. Yeah,
But but
yeah.
but in that final, like they dominated the first set, won that
Mm,
6-2, so quite comfortably. And then
yeah,
Taylor was actually, I think they were 5-4 up in the second. So they were serving for the second, they were serving for the match, or Taylor was serving for the match in the second set. She basically got broken, and then yeah, Ostapenko and Wade or Shea came back, took the set in a tiebreak, and then the third set was like kind of back and forth, but Townsend and Siniakova like regrouped basically, and
yeah,
they just kind of took over again, and they were the top seeds, like so it wasn't a massive surprise in the fact that they ended up winning the whole thing, but still incredible achievement. And
yeah,
I feel like with Townsend too, she doesn't get enough credit because she was a junior world number one, like top junior. And then obviously there was like kind of controversy or, you know, yeah, there was unfortunate kind of events that happened with like the USTA and stuff like during her junior career,
yeah,
that kind of slowed her down like in the pros a bit. But the way she's been able to transition and like really kind of stake her claim in like the double space. Like she's gonna be like she's gonna go down as like a Hall of Fame player now. Like
mm.
not everybody can win Grand Slam doubles titles, and she's got
Yeah,
two of them. So it's a huge achievement, and I feel like she's going to be doing a lot more things. Like obviously, Siniakova is the current junior, sorry, not junior, doubles number one player. I think Townsend is number three at the moment.
Hmm.
So I mean, she should have aspirations to reach number one. Like she can do it. So
for sure.
I'm looking forward to like seeing them like throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah,
Christian?
Yeah. I watched a bit of the semifinal and final. I thought they were really good and entertaining. I was surprised that Taylor, like, she hadn't played on Rod Laver since she won that juniors
Mm,
final. And there's two things interesting about that. It's like one, first of all, like I like that the Australian Open, they put like the junior finals on like the big main court. I think they're the only slam that does that, so I think that's really cool. But also just her resilience. And as you mentioned, of course, Eugene, like the USTA thing, and like that was a big thing that impacted her throughout her career. Then also still coming back from giving birth, that's of course not easy at
yeah,
all. And she came back really better than ever after giving birth to her son Aiden. And really, to me, Taylor's just a true star, and everyone loves to see her win. It's the same thing with Madison Keys. Like it's
mm.
just such a feel good feeling when you see Taylor Townsend win. And I feel like she is going to be big and getting a lot of people more interested in watching doubles in general because, of course, it's no secret that doubles is not as widely popular as singles is. But even for me personally, I knew I was more motivated to watch doubles because I knew Taylor Townsend was still in the draw. So
facts.
she can be really major in growing the sport in a different way. So it's just awesome to see her out there lifting these titles because it's going to do more to inspire people who look like her, as she mentioned in her speech as well.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
was which
that.
was amazing, and I did love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, no, honestly, yeah, and that's one thing that I love about Taylor. She just loves showing off like that she's black and she's proud of her blackness and she's not
Mm.
afraid to do that. And I know that for some people it's like nothing, but it's actually a pretty big thing because you see how uncomfortable other people are, or you see how, some of the comments that people make, and it's like, I don't think you understand the deal that it is, because I think people underestimate how it's still a white dominated sport. I don't care how
Hmm.
many black players you are seeing, but behind the scenes, there's so many things that are happening, even just right in front of us. We see the treatments the black players get compared to the white players. We see the treatments in tennis clubs today still. We see the treatments in media. We see the treatments like everywhere in this industry. So for her to stand up and, you know, use her space, she didn't have to do that. She could be like, thank you, God, thank you, everyone, thank you, and bye. But for her to show that to other Black kids that, you know, you could achieve these type of things and stuff, like I think some people underestimate, is really powerful. It's really great to see. And I just love that she isn't scared to do that, because I do feel like you might feel a bit intimidating. That's not even just in the tennis space. I just feel like in general, as Black people, sometimes we want to be loud about our Blackness, but we're like, yeah,
A
I
bit
don't want.
timid. Oh, facts,
A
yeah.
bit timid, a bit scared,
Mhm.
a bit, you know, we already, especially as a Black woman, you have to speak a specific way, you have to act a specific way to make everyone comfortable around you. But Taylor doesn't do that. And in every aspect, not even just about when she talks about how proud she is about being Black and a Black woman, it's just everything. And I think that attitude has shown even more since she's given birth as well. Since as a mother, she's been more confident, more open, is more of like, I really do not give a F about what these people think. This is who I am. Take it how I leave it. So I love how she uses her platform every time. Anytime she wins, you know, the mixed double Wimbledon, she did it. Mixed doubles, US Open, fine. She was a finalist there. With Donald Young, she did it, and now also as a winner here, she did it again. And yeah, honestly, it's just been great. What I love the most is that Taylor normally when she starts her season, she actually plays at Adelaide or all kind of stuff. This time she literally has not played since WTA finals. They have not played since then. And she came straight into the Australian Open, which is why unfortunately, that's why I wasn't too surprised on the first round. It was a bit tricky. It still went into 3 sets. But doubles, she killed it. And we have another, you know, we went home with 2 titles, guys. Grand Slam titles.
Technically
Period.
three. John Williams also picked up a coach's trophy.
Exactly, coach.
So shouts out to
So
Coach
shout out
John
to Coach
Williams.
Jeffrey Williams. See, I said we gonna live with something. Exactly. So yeah, shout out to the winners, shout out to Madison Keys, shout out to Taylor, shout out to Katerina. A lovely, lovely run from them. Sticking to the woman, we have to talk about as we're focusing on week 2, we have to talk about gosh, guys, sorry. We have to talk about Coco Gauff falling to Paula Badosa, who in the quarterfinals, who Badosa was just in a different level. I do want to give her credit because obviously, you know, she had injuries and stuff, her back killing her, everything, whatever. But yeah,
The
because
head to head as well was also quite tight. Sorry to cut
it
you,
was
but yeah,
quite tight.
it was 3-3 coming in, so neck and neck.
Yeah, it was that as well. But yeah, considering how Golf was playing, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I thought, you know, through. I saw Badosa, I was like, yeah, we good. Like, you know, it is what it is. But Badosa was like, let me, you know, who actually got knocked out eventually after by Sabalenka. Sabalenka, right? I believe,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But yeah, but either way, Coco came into AO playing really well. Her serves were well. There was some, I feel like it was a bit tricky. For me personally, which I said for week 1, I feel like as the more she was playing, the more she was like improving. Um, United Cup, I just feel like she was just untouchable. And then I don't know if it was. I'm really curious to know like what changed, because although she came in playing well, I mean her serves were good. You know, Eugene, you posted it on our socials. She finished second in the Aces leaderboard on 32 from 5 matches, which is great. Keys was that 2 behind who finished first, which was great as well. So you can show to you like how much she's actually been, you know, working a lot on her serves. Even some of the matches, just hitting some of these forehands, and I was like, yes, that's how you do it. But unfortunately, sometimes some of the matches, the errors were like kind of costed her the match and everything. So, what do you guys think? Like change for Coco from United Cup to Australia? I don't want to make it like obviously she was not playing bad, but we can agree it wasn't the same level at all times. But what do you think is it? Do you think it was maybe nerves or the conditions or I don't know, because I generally thought it would be like okay, it would be like the same. It was that it was kind of like up and down, especially during like the Badosa match.
Christian, do you want to go?
Yeah. I kind of noticed it from jump against Kenin that her form wasn't quite there. And I thought possibly it was due to, you know, the tough opening round match, like the first round jitters of playing in the Slam 2. I attributed it to that. She did play a little bit better against Layla, and then I really liked how she turned it around against Bencic. And honestly, I thought after she turned it around and she really dominated Bencic in those final two sets, I thought she was kind of nearing her United Cup form. But I think perhaps it was like changing conditions, because it still is different from Melbourne to Sydney, and then as well as the pressure. You can't deny the pressure of playing in a slam compared to somewhat of a lower stakes event like United Cup. And then two, Coco was the favorite for many people to go all the way, so it was a different added pressure for her that she didn't face at Beijing, WTA Finals, or United Cup. Like you said, Badosa, she played well, but it was undeniable that Gauff wasn't really on her game. And I don't think it was an issue with her serve per se. No, I feel like it was more or less just the forehand a little bit. And
Yeah.
again, I think Serena put it best when she said it's not really a technical thing, it's more or less a confidence thing or a mental thing with it. And she just didn't seem altogether like fully committed with the forehand like she was. The United Cup wasn't hitting it with that same conviction as she was, and Badosa took advantage. So um really, things like this happen. You're not going to be on your game all the time, and it's difficult to sustain such a high level for so long because she really continued that WTA Finals form and she really elevated it at the United Cup. So it's just simply not easy to keep that going, especially in the slam.
Yeah, no, well
Well
said.
said. Yeah.
But again, completely agree. I'm never going to be one to like critique a player's like technique. And I liked what she said. I think it was after the Badosa match, basically about like internet coaches saying that like basically these these
She
people in
got
the
me.
comments haven't
She got
these
me.
people in the comments haven't played to this level. So like, I mean, like how can they be? Obviously, she didn't say this
Facts.
verbatim, but yeah, this is what she was
Yeah.
saying. And I'm completely with it. I need to give you a shout out, Lucy, because you called the Bencic match in terms of the way it played out. You said it was going to be
Oh
tough,
yeah.
and it
Yeah.
literally went down to, well, it played out exactly how you kind of said it would.
Yeah.
Although I
Yeah.
kind of want to take a bit of credit too, because I
No,
mean,
no, bro, no, bro, no, bro.
sets two and three, she
Sorry,
kind of
sorry.
steamrolled it.
So for context, Christian, like when we're talking about the week one, by the time we podded that, basically her match against Belinda was like the next day. And we were talking about
Well,
that
that
and
night, yeah.
that night, and then Eugene was like, nah, it's gonna straight. I was like, bro, Belinda was hitting a bit crazy against Osaka. I'm not gonna lie, yeah.
She
She was
was.
playing, she was playing really well this tournament. And I was like, nah, it's gonna I was like, I had a feeling that Coco would still win it, but it won't be like an easy match type of thing. So yeah, I knew my tennis was Australian Open. I'll bring myself up a little bit. I did watch it. That's the first, yeah, I did try a little bit, but yeah, either way, still very happy for Coco, anyways. Like, it is what it is. It's still just the start of the season, anyways. Um, and what I love the most is that she was still good, she still felt confident, she was still proud. A lot of times when the players lose, especially younger players like her, I'm a bit worried that they're too hard on themselves or a little bit like too tough, but she looked good. Even, her little like post couple days after, like, I don't care, I'm still proud of myself. Like, and it's right. And it's funny because some people had issue with that post. And I'm like, well, you don't spend days cussing her out after she lost. So she's basically responding back to you and saying, I don't care. I still, at the end of the day, this is just the first Grand Slam of the year. There are three more. The season has literally just started, and it's not like she lost the first round. Her draw was tough. We all saw the draw, and we were all like, "Ooh," even
To
Kenin has
start
not.
against, that's what I'm saying. To start against Kenin,
That's
Grand
what I'm
Slam
saying.
two, first
Yes,
round.
Kenin is not the same as before, but still, it was still tough, and you could see it, with the way that the match went and everything. So, yeah, she had a really, really tough one. But at the end of the day, we're just gonna keep on grinding. There's been a massive improvement. There's still been a massive improvement from US Open last year to now, and I'm not over that. Like, literally, in such couple of months, this girl has picked up and changed up. Again, the forehand that you guys have disturbed us about 100,000 times has improved so much, and like it's gonna take time. Like, we literally went from,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, this forehand is da 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 da, but it's gonna take time. Unfortunately, it did cost her for this Badosa match, as you said, Christian, earlier, but there's been some matches where she was hitting and we were like, wait, hold on, is this what's happening? But
Even the serve, because the leaderboard thing was interesting. Like, and obviously you can't read too much into it in terms of topping a leaderboard, but it is interesting to me because I don't know how you feel about this, Chris, as well. I feel like her serve is going to be one of her biggest weapons because when she broke onto the scene, I don't even remember Wimbledon. Like she was basically serving so big, and people were like, "Wow, like that looks like one of her like main weapons." And then obviously, as time's gone on, like it has kind of she's gone through troubles with it, but she's clearly in that phase now. And again, we need to remember she's 20 years old. Like, I mean, she turns 21 in a few weeks. Is it March? I think March.
Go to Miami, Coco. Go to Miami, drink some drink and enjoy.
But yeah, like my point is she's super young. Like, so of course there's going to be like developments still. But I do feel like the serve is going to end up being one of her biggest weapons. I don't know how you feel about that, Christian.
No, I totally agree. And what I liked about her serving this tournament that it was really smart. Like she wasn't necessarily hitting it the biggest all the time. She was really like doing a lot of slice serves, getting her opponents off the court. And the angle she was getting on that serve was really something. So I think that can be a major asset for her because a lot of players don't serve quite as well as she does as far as her placement. So I definitely agree that if she gets that serve even better, because it's already good, like it's already been improved since the US Open, as you mentioned last year, Lucy. But if she can reach at that next notch, she really could be an unstoppable force. And another thing you mentioned too, Eugene, is like people forget that she's still just 20 years old. And I think a lot of people were doing way too much about the loss. You would have thought she lost first round to someone ranked 332nd in the world. It was a top 20 player, Badosa, who's now back inside
world
the
number
top
2,
10.
no?
Right, literally former world number 2. It was a tight two-setter, and to mention, again, Coco didn't play her best, but she still pushed Badosa a lot. So I feel like even some of the Coco Puffs, the fans, were like being too harsh on her. Like they were being too harsh. Like let's not forget the past 3 months, all the tennis, the great tennis she's given us.
Context.
Like let's not hop on.
Clack it,
you know,
clack it.
Context.
No, it's true. And that's why I feel like she made that post. Like, I don't care. I'm still proud of myself. Like that was her respectfully saying, shut the F up. Shut up. Yeah, respectfully, thank you for supporting me, but it's enough. Okay. So yeah, shout out to Coco. Well done to her for a run as Australian Open. And yeah, shout out to the ladies. Now let's move on to the men. The men's final, obviously. We have yep.
Sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Snooze guys, I'm not even trying to be rude. I actually napped during the men's final. Respect.
I don't blame you.
I napped. It was one of the best naps I took as well, you know.
Lucky you.
I needed a background noise, you know, a little background noise. So yeah, eventually, you know, we have the winner, Jannik Sinner, who was a lot of people's favorites. You know, he needs to work hard. He needs to cash up that money for them lawyers. Jannik Sinner, who beat Alexander Zverev 6-3, 7-6, 6-3. I unfortunately cannot tell you much about that match. Did any of you guys watch that match?
I did watch, mainly because I was planning on kind of sleeping through it. But I couldn't go to sleep, so I was like, oh, might as well watch
might
it.
As well. You know? Christian's like, you know what? I have to do some content anyways on this.
Literally,
well.
like that was my
tennis is life.
Right, literally. So I was watching it, and I was like, okay. I think Miles David, he made a good point. It didn't really feel like a slam final, and it's odd because it's number 1 versus number 2 in the world, but it didn't really give like those high stakes. You know, it gave. Honestly, to be honest, Shelton Center gave more of like a slam final vibes, to be honest, than this. So I mean, it was a good performance from Jannik. You know, obviously Zverev would be disappointed from his aspect. He didn't really even pinch Jannik at all, especially on his serve. He didn't have a single break point against Sinner, which is kind of wild. But yeah.
I wonder why he was on that court crying. Damn. Not even one. That is crazy.
Not one.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah,
Ben
moving on.
Shelton,
But
man.
either way, obviously the second week we had Shelton left, who reached a second major semi-final. And
Huge.
guys, I don't think some people realize this is someone where this is the beginning of his third ATP season ever. And this guy has reached a second major semi-final. I don't think Shelton gets enough credit for this. I've said this so many times on the pod. For someone who had to pick up the ATP season so quickly out of nowhere, stuck in America with no passport for till he was literally whatever, gets to Australia, quarterfinals, that he's reached levels of Grand Slams against some people who's been on the tour respectfully for I don't know how many years, have not even seen the second week or as deep as him. So honestly, a massive shout out to him. He lost at the defending champion to Yannick Sinner, of course. A very, very tight match. Um, I I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm proud of him. I do think maybe he was nervous going to the match. Actually, no, take that back. I think he went in confident, ready, because he broke him the first game.
Yeah.
I think, however, when Yannick Sinner started being Yannick Sinner, it was like, oh shoot, what do I do here?
I need more, Lucy. What do you mean by that?
No, I mean like Yannick. Guys, I'm sorry, but we need to say the truth. Yannick Sinner is a crazy player in a good way. Like the guy knows how to play tennis.
Yeah.
Like take it or leave it, cream or no cream, allegations or no allegations. This guy is actually really good. The one thing that, because I remember going into the match, I was like, Shelton needs to make this guy tired. The one thing Sinner doesn't have is endurance. That man be walking around like he's this 92-year-old man sometimes.
He does.
But out of nowhere, he will still have the level and the power to hit the way that he hit. Like Sinner will hit in a way, and in the next move, he knows what to do. And I think sometimes that rattled Shelton a little bit. Or maybe he didn't expect it that much, especially that Sinner was slightly injured. But unfortunately, I feel like if Shelton reduced the errors, it would have been a different type of match. I'm not saying Shelton would have won it, but maybe it would have been like a 5-setter. If it was a 5-setter, Sinner most likely maybe would have been out of there, because I don't think he could have been able to handle a 3-4 hour match like Shelton has, because Shelton has a different type of endurance. But honestly, facing someone like Sinner is not easy. I know the boys right now are rattled. They're trying to figure out what can we do to kick this man out of here, especially if, he's not banned after all. What can we do? But a massive shout out to Shelton. He had an incredible run. Sorry, he had to beat Gael Monfils 7-6.
What a match that was as well.
What a match! That was Monfils wasn't really looking really good. It's time. Uncle did what he had to do, man. It's all right. He made these kids work, but Shelton had to take him out. Obviously, also faced Sonego, Lorenzo. That was also a very good match. Very, very good. That's probably my favorite match that second week from Shelton. And then had to face another Italian against Sinner. But it was really impressive. Christian, what did you think of his run?
Yeah, to second your thoughts, it was really impressive. And I feel like his match against Sinner, I know it sounds weird, but it might have impressed me the most because I felt like the first set was on his racket. I think he was the better player for a lot of the first set.
That's true.
He served for the first set, I believe, at 6-5, and he had a set point or two. And I think it came down to him maybe feeling the moment, and it was really him. Yes, Yannick is a great player, solid player, and he has more experience at this level, of course, of winning big matches. And
True.
Shelton, while he has done great in making these slam semifinals, he hasn't gone further as far as 1000s or things like that. So he's still, as you mentioned, he's still very new. So he still has more experience to gain. And him playing the high risk tennis and the errors came and they were flowing at inopportune times, that really hurt him. And I think after he lost that first set, it kind of took more of the wind out of his sails. Not to mention, I feel like he waned a little bit in that third set due to all the tennis he played leading up to this match. But overall, I think it was a very, very impressive showing from him. And I honestly, he he always tests Sinner. Like I feel like he'll be one of the few to if he works on things a little bit more in this game. Because I feel like one thing too that impressed me. Sorry to keep jumping around, but his shot tolerance was stronger in the early stages of
Mm,
that center match. I feel like if he can hone in that a little bit more, he can be one of the players that can truly challenge center consistently. Because every
mm.
match they've played, it's gone at least one set has been a tiebreaker.
Quite tight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's gone
yeah.
to a
I
tiebreaker.
want to say their first meeting, he actually beat him.
Right. In Shanghai in
So, but
2023.
yeah,
Mm,
obviously he's not beaten him since, and I think it's what 3 or 4-1 the head to head.
mm.
But yeah, again, Christian, everything you said there, spot on. I do feel like in that cinema match, like you said, he started so well, broke first, served for it, and then Sinner just kind of I wouldn't
Sinner.
I don't want to say sucked the life out of him, but like he just basically played world number one tennis, and
Right.
that's the kind of way that's the way he plays against everybody. Like that
Yeah,
isn't the thing
facts.
to Ben Shelton.
Hmm.
But I do feel like the energy just wasn't there because I was
Same.
like I said to you, Lucy, I was live blogging it for work, so I was kind of watching it, but also blogging at the same time, and I hate
Mm.
doing that because you can't concentrate on the match. But I was able to kind of like just yeah pick up on certain things, and for me, Shelton wasn't moving right in terms of in that second and third set
Mm.
because I feel like not that he was like defeated, but I just feel like yeah, I don't know, maybe mentally as well, like he's still got
But
a bit
that's
of
but that's
a
why but that's
development.
why I said maybe I felt like that's why I said he was nervous. But then because I remembered that he broke first, I was like, okay, yeah, I genuinely think he felt okay, but I just think Sinner's level kind of rattled him for a little second, and it's weird. I just think it was just it's just like a bad day at the office type of thing
Yeah,
because
and again,
Shelt
he had a terrible serving day. Like his first serve,
it,
he couldn't find his first serve.
it's what I'm saying. There was so many errors. His like it was weird. It was like sometimes there was at one point on the third set, he was literally like a couple games, he was, on job. And then as soon as Sinner just picked it up or like, it just rattled him. So
Yeah.
I generally think it was just a thing of like, because Shelton's not the type to lose focus. But I think it was just like, um, I think Sinner just made him uncomfortable. And at that moment, Shelton was kind of struggling to finding a solution. But yeah, his level was not the same because as soon as he was pumped up or had a little bit more energy or more
Exactly.
confidence, he was hitting winners. He was
Yeah.
playing
And
really
the
well.
crowd are more involved, and
The
that's kind of
crowd are
what
more
you
involved.
liked as
Yeah.
well. Like
So yeah,
the
it
crowd was
was
so flat, I thought, as well. Like throughout the whole match. I thought it was a really flat kind of
I think, to be honest, I think it was a thing where they thought the match would be more intense. I genuinely thought that match was going to be 4-5 setter. But then again, when you look at all of Shelton's match, his matches were long. So
four
maybe if
sets, four setters, yeah.
there were 4 setters, the matches were long. So maybe he was like literally, that's why I was so happy that his match was in the evening. Because I was like, you need some extra time to rest. Because one thing I've noticed at Grand Slams, I think the first week it takes a lot of energy out of him because Wimbledon last year, let me tell you guys something. Wimbledon, Shelton was acting cool, but I'm telling you, that guy was exhausted, boy. His body was done. He was tired. So I think maybe moving forward with the Grand Slams, I think maybe try find a way that first week to keep it, save that energy for like the second week
Mm.
because it might have just been that. But yeah, his level was definitely not the same. I don't know if it's a thing where it was fatigue or it was Sinner, just a lot of different things. But either way, it doesn't take away the fact that he reached that semifinals.
No,
That it is
facts.
what it is. And he had a crazy draw.
Christian, like, what do you think Shelton's ceiling is? Like, it's a terrible question, but like, yeah, just
No,
for
that's
the
not a
sake of
bad question.
the
Um,
podcast.
I think this run to me showed that I think he can win. Honestly, not only just one slam, but maybe multiple slams in his
Mm,
career because he hasn't scratched the surface yet of what he can do. And again, the
Facts.
center match shows that he has what it takes. He's one of the few players that has the firepower to, take it to these top guys. And with the serve that he has and the athleticism that he has too, he can really, I think he might have a better shot. He really he has a good shot at 3 of the 4 slams. He still has to work on clay a little bit. Clay is obviously probably his least favorite surface. That'll be tough for him. But Australian Open, if he of course made the semifinals. Wimbledon, as you mentioned, Lucy, he was kind of gassy. He played a few 5-setters, I believe, before he ran into Sinner in the fourth round. But I think if he can make those key improvements, little improvements, I think he can be a slam champion for sure.
I
Yeah,
like that.
definitely. I think he'll be. I remember saying this to Eugene before that, because he's so used to hardcore and he didn't travel outside. I think hardcore would definitely be the surface that he would be comfortable with. The first time I watched him on clay, I remember saying to Eugene, he just needs a little bit more time. I think the second he'll be comfortable on that surface, I can really see him doing well because he moves really well. This guy will be sliding anywhere, even on hard courts. So can you imagine even on clay? I just think he just needs, that time.
He has he's won a title on clay.
He did, but is American clay, so it's a little bit
different. Don't give me clay is clay.
No, clay is clay. No. I'll give him thing, but it's different when you're playing that clay in with the Spaniards when you're playing that clay in America. So them surfaces, they do a little something, but doesn't take away the fact that he has titles in 2 different surfaces. But yeah, it's just time. Honestly, with him, it's just time. Again, just like Coco, he's young. So he still has time to do that. If he can accomplish everything that he's accomplished just now, mate, like he's clear. But yeah, his tennis was not only the only thing that we focused on. Unfortunately, there was some very awkward moments. And he on one of his press runs, he was probably, I would say, he was the only one who really publicly spoke out for all players about the awkward on-court interviews from like the different broadcasters. He's especially the broadcasters and gave examples from different players and, saying that he wishes people were a little bit more kind or thoughtful with some of the comments. Obviously, the one that stood out to me the most was the Le Mans joke, saying that
Roger Rashid.
Yeah.
Referencing.
He was actually Monfils' coach at one point, and Tsonga. And Leighton Hewitt.
Sense. It makes sense. That actually makes sense. Do you know why I'm saying that? Because it
Very
covers
familiar.
sometimes with some non-Black people, sometimes I think when they feel like I've been around Black people often, I can be comfortable enough to say certain comments. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to hold your hands as I'm saying this. It doesn't matter how many Black friends you have. I don't care how many Black partners you had. You still need to use that brain that God gave you when you are saying certain comments to Black people. Now, I don't think, a lot of times, I said this to Eugene privately, I think a lot of times when people make racist remarks, I think a lot of time comes from ignorance. So obviously, as a white person, you're privileged enough to not understand the danger of you referencing another Black man as their dad. And scrap all of that, even outside of race. It's bloody disrespectful when his own dad is there.
Right there.
He's right there, but with the stereotypes of Black or mixed people without having a Black dad, or like the fact that you only reference that with Black players. Had they said, to a white player, Monfils is your dad, fine, little bit, but you only said it to the Black. None of them are saying with Djokovic and these white kids.
Or Alcaraz and Nadal. No, I'm joking.
Alcaraz and Nadal. No, but even that, they even make it seem like it's a big bro or small bro, like, oh yeah, fan and hero thing.
But not
father. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But we've seen it with Serena and the Black players, with female Black players. We're seeing it with Monfils and thing. And I actually rate that. Ben made him said it straight there and then. Is that a Black joke? Like,
oh man, honestly, because I didn't actually hear it, like because I was watching the match live, obviously, and then the on-court interview happens pretty much straight afterwards. I didn't actually hear what Roger Rashid said, but I saw that there was like quick banter, and obviously Shelton is like that kind of guy in terms of he's quite quick-witted as well. So I was like,
that's
okay,
the thing.
That's cool.
Because the thing
cool
is,
banter between them.
I generally think he let it go because the press conference before that one, the one where he opened up saying, "Yo, you guys need to chill." Someone did ask him about
it was after that. It was after that because he referenced
no.
that
I'm
and
saying no. I'm
Tien.
saying before he I'm saying before he met. So after that happened, someone did mention it on the press conference. Like, did it like bother you or whatnot or blah blah blah? But he brushed it off.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
he brushed it off. But I think then his next match, he dealt with it again. I think that's when he was like, all right, you lot are taking a piss now. Is enough. But I think for me, what stood out and respected the most for me is the fact that he spoke out for everyone. He didn't even speak out just for himself. And I noticed it when he mentioned the Monfils thing. I didn't want to say anything yet, but I was just like, I was gonna say something after be like, bro, what was that? But I was like, you know what, if he's not gonna say anything, let me just keep quiet till like the pod starts and everything. And I was not in the mood to deal with my mention being full of it's not about race. So I just let it go. So I was just like, whatever. So when he spoke up, I was like, thank God, because I was like, that's so, that moment in the Keys one was because Keys was always asked about her husband. Like she just won, I think it was after this Vitalino match. She won like one crazy physical match, one of her best matches that tournament. And the first thing you're gonna ask her for is about her husband. Like, bro, like what's going on?
Who was doing that interview? Do you know?
What's her name?
Jelena Dokic.
Yes. Okay. And I like her. So that's what I said on the tweet. You know what? I gave a benefit of the doubt because she's actually normally good and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think she even realized at the moment, oh shoot, they're not comfortable, and she changed it up. But it's like still, because when it comes to these male players, you're gonna ask them, don't get me wrong, but it's not the first thing you're gonna ask them for. But shout out to Shelton for doing that. Honestly speaking.
For me as well with Shelton, though, I loved how he mentioned Lerner Tien. Because that was so, oh man, that was awful.
That was a bad
I've got some words for Mr. Is it John Fitzgerald? But anyway, Christian, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, like you said, Lucy, I think he was, first of all, the Monfils thing was just very weird, and I'm glad he called him out like immediately. Was like, was that a black joke? And it made him uncomfortable. He was like, oh, let's not go there. And I think like what really made him say it was the interview after he beat Sonego, because like you could see like how visibly he was really happy about the win. And it was a little bit weird for him to say. I thought it didn't really make sense for the interviewer, I don't know his name, but for him to say, oh, the crowd, they're going to be rooting for your opponent regardless of who you play. I think that was a little bit weird because, yeah, I understand Alex de Minaur, he's an Aussie, but I don't, like, do the Aussies really go up for Sinner like that? Like, I thought that was a little bit like, okay, I didn't really see he was that popular. But anyways, like as you mentioned, Eugene, I really like how he spotlighted, Lerner Tien in that interview. And you could see how it meant a lot for the players, because you had a lot of players come out and really say, this is good on Ben, like great for speaking up. So overall, I think it was a good moment. And I feel like it'll impact, at least change, and for the interviewers to kind of think twice when preparing their questions, or at least to prepare a little bit, put a little bit more effort into their questions, because sometimes it seems like they really aren't that prepared to interview these players after these matches.
Yeah, I mean the whole time was just crazy. That Channel 9 journalist that was making fun of the Djokovic fans. Listen, I'll put my hands up and say I did laugh, but I laughed. But about the same time, I was like, this is a joke that you put on the group chat privately with your two friends.
On live TV?
Not on live TV. We're all, at the end of the day, I always say to people, media is a little bit tough because we're fans at the end of the day. We have our favorite players and we have the players that we don't like. And we have the right to that at the end of the day, because we can't be into the sport and not actually love it or have our favorite players and stuff. But at the end of the day, you still need to show like a little bit of respect, like,
and professionalism. He
was like Novak's over, and I was like, bro, even me that be cooking Novak just for bands, I would never even do that. Like, come on, man. There's certain things you do not do, and I am out of pocket. So even if I even say this is out of pocket, this is really out of pocket. At the same time, I think a lot of people do forget that the Australians have not forgiven Djokovic because of the whole COVID thing. So I think Eugene, if you're listening and not watching, Eugene rolled his eyes big time. about comment, but I'm just saying, I know, it's when 2025, move on. I
Well,
get
that's
it.
like 5 years ago. Like, that's
I
actually
understand.
insane.
I understand, but it is where it is, bro. COVID, some people did pass away, some people, their
No,
lives have
true.
changed.
I'm not, yeah,
So
I'm not belittling that.
no,
Definitely
I know,
not.
yeah, no, I know, but I can understand why for some people it's like you try to use your privilege to get what you wanted, but it was very unfortunate. On the bright side, though, I'm not a big fan of, I'm gonna bleep out once I say this, but Mr. So for me personally, it was a wonderful day to see people complain about Australian Open. They were like this, that, and I was like, I've been praying for that man's downfall. But either way, it was still, a decent. Shout out to the girls, shout out to the ladies. I do, although it's black spin focus, guys. Do you guys have any like favorite moment from like non-black spin? I have one. Listen, that Brazilian kid. Hey, I hope I pronounce his name well. Fonseca.
Oh,
Fonseca.
that is actually, I think that is actually the way you pronounce it. Go on, Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to say I speak Portuguese and Spanish. I was about to mess that up, but anyways, I don't speak Portuguese. But shout out
Portuguese.
to him. Shout out to him. He honestly was incredible. He was so fun to watch. He actually won the ATP
Next gen
Yeah.
finals.
next gen finals. He's one
Mm-hmm.
who knocked out Feast, so I knew a little bit of him from there. And he won that, came into AO, knocked out Rublev. That match was incredible. The energy was great. It's nice. I love seeing younger players, especially coming from, the hood and all that. He comes from a very unsafe area in Brazil. But he made it really entertaining. That was great from him. But yeah, I don't know if you guys have any like favorite moments or matches, black spin or black spin, really, like feel free.
Miss
Go
Christian?
ahead.
I guess non-black spin, I'll say another young gun, Leonard Tien. He
Yeah.
defeated Medvedev in 5 sets. And that might be one of my favorite matches from this year. Just it was incredible how
Yeah.
he led him 2 sets to love, and Medvedev won the next 2 sets. I was like, okay, I can stop watching now. And I was recording a video, but then I was score watching. I was like, he was staying with them, and then I was able to catch the end of the tiebreaker. Like it was incredible. And for him he came through qualifying, and then he ultimately made the fourth round. Despite all that tennis, that was really impressive from him.
He
Um,
lost to Sonego in the end, didn't he?
he did, yeah. He lost in the fourth round in 4 sets.
Fair. I can't not go black. I'm sorry. And this is
He
this is
said
gonna
I'm
catch
black and proud.
no, this is gonna catch you. This is gonna catch you off guard, Lucy, because I've not even mentioned this to you. But yeah, we had another champion in wheelchair doubles and singles.
Oh
Yeah,
shoot.
juniors.
Hmm.
So she's also from
Oh.
Brazil, actually. So it's not just João Fonseca. And
I
I don't know how I don't know the Portuguese way to pronounce the name, so I'm just gonna say it in English. So it's Victoria Miranda. And
okay.
she's 17. So yeah, she won the girls wheelchair singles and
Oh,
doubles
nice. That's
at the Australian
wicked.
Open. I want to say that's her first Grand Slam as well at
Nice,
junior
nice,
level.
nice.
So
That's awesome.
yeah, well, I will post it on the social, so you will see that. But yeah, just that's a really nice, like, we always say as well, we don't spend enough time talking about wheelchair tennis, but we only kind of see it really during Grand Slams. Like we don't really see it
Exactly.
throughout the year. But
Yeah, yeah,
it is
yeah.
nice that it's spotlighted at the slams, and obviously
Mm-hmm.
where we can, we will try and do that. So
Yeah, yeah,
shouts out to Miranda.
yeah,
And yeah, look out for that post, guys, when we do post it.
yeah. How did you guys, so just to conclude, how did you guys feel about AO? Out of 10, how much would you rate it?
I'll rate it, I guess, 8.5. I think Madison carries a lot of it for me,
Okay,
Yeah.
for sure,
fairs.
definitely.
That's a good
I
point.
guess talking in general, I think definitely the women did their big ones with this one. The AO men's final, it took the ranking down a little bit because it was just not it. Like,
Snooze
I'm not going
fest.
to dispute the Oralist claims because it just wasn't a lot of it out there. And I guess to somewhat nitpick, I would have liked to see Coco in the semifinals too. I think that would have been great to see, Sabalenka, Gauff, Swiatek, Keys. But overall, I feel like it was a good tournament. I was happy with the end result for sure.
Yeah. Lucy, what about you?
I like the chaos. It was very dramatic.
Of course you do.
Yeah, there was a
The
lot.
fir-
Danielle
that
Collins too.
that first week is like every day we woke up and it was like I was cracking up on my TL. I was like, what is wrong with this sport? Like it was just something after something
Even Novak's withdrawal or like retirement, that was also
ret-
quite
yeah,
dramatic.
the
It's
retirement
wild.
and then
After
him
one set.
coming up and posting the x-ray like, sir, we don't know what that means. I mean, I watched some Grey's Anatomy, but that is it. I don't know anything. Like it was just so. Even right before AO started, the funniest thing is when now tennis Twitter is the best. They literally posted a missing person for Medvedev, and Medvedev actually answered the next day with a picture like, "Sorry, I was just having a baby," and
Oh
he's out here
yeah.
posing like he's the one who gave
Like he
birth.
gave birth.
Like it was just so the unfortunately the drama was very entertaining, but at the same time, as much as it's sad, sometimes there's funny moments, just bring it in, the whole Collins thing and and so on. But I definitely enjoyed the first week more. I think a lot of the matches, for example, the Alcaraz and Sinner, very, very, it was not given what we thought it was given. For me personally, anyways, I thought I was gonna get a little bit more, entertainment, but I feel like it was up and down. Um, but I will give, you know what? Initially, I was gonna give a low score, but now that you said obviously with Madison Keys winning, I'll give it 8. But I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I think I would have. I'm being strict. I would have given it a 6, still 6.5. Yeah, man. I
That's
told you,
crazy.
me and Australian Open, this is blood, boy.
I'm gonna give it a
Kinda.
9. I'm gonna give it a 9. And
Okay.
and also that seems ridiculously high, but it is because of Keys and Townsend and Siniakova.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But also, and Miles, maybe you say, sorry, Mark called you Miles there. Americans. Maybe well, I'd like to hear your thoughts as well, because us here in London, it's so difficult for us to keep up with it. So there were days where I was basically surviving on like 3-4 hours sleep, sometimes even less. And it's really tough. But then also it's a thing of you kind of just get into it. So I'm also relieved that it's over, if that makes sense,
Thank
even though I
God.
did enjoy it.
Yes.
Thank
Oh my
God.
gosh.
But yeah, like
Yes.
if you talk about like for you being in America, what's the time zones and how does it work for you?
Yeah, so the matches started typically around 7 p.m. and then it was like 12 hours basically. So from 7 to 7 a.m. And normally I would kind of, stay up and watch the matches that I want to watch or go to bed, or maybe go to bed a little bit earlier and wake up and watch. And even still, that's a little bit rough, but I try to act as if put my mindset like if I were there and like covering it for real, for real. So
Mm.
I had to change my sleep
I
schedule a
believe
little
that.
bit, and like it's still messed up to this like today. Like I recorded a video and didn't go to bed until like 9 a.m. and I woke up like it's just so crazy.
Damn.
I'm so happy it's done so I can get my life back. Like all the bags under my eyes and everything. It's so like even like on my YouTube, like they're like, Christian, get some sleep. Your eyes are swollen. I'm like, I'm sorry. It's rough, but yeah. What about for y'all? I'm curious.
Oh,
the
you
first the
don't want to know.
first match literally starts at midnight.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
At midnight, and obviously Eugene and I, we still work. Like for example, that's why there was some matches I told Eugene, I was like, sorry, I cannot. I do have to give a shout out to Eugene for staying up way more than me. You were on job this Australian Open. I left you on your own, unfortunately.
No, I'm
Last
a night
Australian
owl.
yeah, you're a night owl. Last year I was up. Like there was times where I did not sleep at all. But I do want to give you your credit, Christian, because I see you. Like you be literally always working and always making sure that you watch the matches. Even if you don't watch it live, you go back, recap, watch it, do a video and post it. So yeah, I really hope all the hard work really, really pays off.
It
And
definitely will. It definitely will, man.
Yeah, so big up to you for giving the coverage to the fans. This is really open, especially that you're covering so many players. At least us is only the black people. Thank God. Thank God, because boy, I don't know how we'll be covering so many of the players. But yeah, shout out to you, Christian, for real.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Same here.
Also, one thing, what were y'all's favorite fits from the tournament?
Ooh, do you know what? Has to be Coco. Has to be Coco.
Night or day?
Oh,
We had
this is
this.
an intense debate.
It's intense. It's hard, but I think last time I said night because I said I like bright colors on black women. Like we just look like bright orange, bright yellow, whatnot.
Pops.
But I really think I'm gonna go for the day now because the colors that she
Right
went through
choice.
on the day, we don't get those type of colors that much in tennis. So like, the khaki thing and it went well with the bodysuit and the back is Coco, please share your back workout. Some of us gotta get rid of that back fat. That's me, girl. So I can wear a bodysuit like that, but she looked amazing. They were both nice. But it's funny because last week, that's why Eugene's looking at me like this. Because last week I literally said the night, but I've changed my mind. I'm saying day.
You're entitled. It's fine.
I wish we saw her more. I think that's why as well, because we saw her more the night than the day. She did play a lot more night matches than the day matches. So when I saw it again when she played against Badosa, I was like, nah, the day takes it. It takes it. What about you guys?
Christian.
I agree. I think I like the day one better because it was the different colors of it too. Night one was still really good, but I also like how she's incorporating day and night kits at the Australian Open. Like I feel like she'll be a trailblazer with that because normally you only see that at the U.S. Open. So I like that New Balance is doing her right and giving her two fits for day and night. So big up to them.
I think Sinner started doing that as well.
Yeah, he did this year too. He didn't do it as well as Coco.
Period.
But he still.
Wait, what color did he do?
He did this yellow
it was
the yellow and then what was the other color?
The day one was white and yellow like on the side. It really wasn't much special.
See, and then even the shoes, they were like, oh, he had custom shoes. I was like, boy, they just put stickers on
that little
shoes
sticker, right? That little child.
Stop it allowed.
They put Fox stickers. I'm like, no, Sinner needs to go in that Nike office, be like, put some respect on my name, bro.
Right.
Like, I hate wearing slams.
Stickers.
Bam, like, no, it's Nike. Come on, you guys need to do something.
Who was the best dressed man or your male player?
I'd say I have a few. First of all, I think Chris Eubanks looked good in his qualifying match. I like his sponsor. I like the Tiafo Lululemon look. It wasn't as bold as his normal Nike looks, but I think the color was good.
Pink, that's pretty bold. It's pretty bold if you ask me.
No, but compared to what he was doing last
year. What, like Australian sleeveless or
from 2023, he had a sleeveless look with the whole
it was like
artsy
mad
thing.
colors. That was really nice.
I also like. I think Rublev has some good fits too. And who else? Who else? What did y'all think of Ben's fit?
I'm really liking Ons, man.
You've always liked
It's because of Shelton. I think he wears it really well.
He wears it the best.
Iga too, and now Lucy's fave, Fonseca. He's also an Ons guy, isn't he? So Ons are doing their thing in this sports or tennis space.
I want a little bit more. Sorry,
I do too. I'm more Lucy. I'm a little. I don't know. I don't hate. I'm not hating on the fit, but I wish they got to switch it up a little bit for me. They got to do something a little bit different. But I think Ben definitely he wears the on fits the best for sure.
The best for sure.
Compliments him better a lot, like the best.
Yeah.
What about you, Eugene?
For what?
Best fit.
Oh yeah, so obviously Coco, the day kit, which I've said. Men, I don't know. I guess I'll say Ben, but I wasn't that inspired by anyone, to be honest. Like,
you see, matches they ain't giving fit. Wake it up.
One thing I will say is because I'm a big Nike guy, Christian. Like I love Nike. I see you with the Nike Court cap on as well. Like for me, Nike, they are like the standard bearer. So I do kind of find it funny sometimes when people say, "Oh, like Nike don't care about tennis anymore," and like
I
for
said
me, for me though, like every year, I say every year, every slam they bring something new, and it's the thing
they
of like kind
do.
of fans coming around and being like, you know what, actually, it's not actually that bad. Like,
I came around too because I was dogging on them at first. And one of the posts like it blew up a little bit, but they kind of like it grew on me. Some of it's grew on me, and I think the collections. I feel like they saw some of the criticism too because they started having the players wear like the baby blue white fits as well, and those look fine. I think Alcaraz's fit looked cool. I know Keys's fit and Keys and Sabalenka's fit were a little bit, I guess, controversial because it was different with the. I don't know what they were doing with that, to be honest.
Guys,
Um,
come on.
it's technology, man. It's clothing technology.
No, you lot are too nice on Nike. Nike, come. We're talking about the biggest brand in the world, not even just clothing brand or athleisure or anything. Like literally
With
the
with
biggest
with,
brand.
with,
And what they're doing.
with Keys as well, quickly before because we're going a bit too long. But do you think Keys will start to get like custom kits now? Now she's a
They're
Grand
not.
Slam
They're
champ.
not even giving it to Sabalenka. You think they're gonna give it to Keys? This is what I'm saying. This is the issue with Nike. They're not. I
yeah.
don't know what's going on, bro. Sinner is out here playing some of the best matches in the ATP field. And they're putting sticker on his shoes. Carlos Alcaraz, 4 Grand Slams. Quiet.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I want to say Carlos has custom shoes.
A little, yeah, he does have custom shoes, I believe. I know he's a trainer, guy, so I won't be surprised if Carlos himself knocked on that door. Like, come on, like any latest Travis Scott stuff, he has it. The latest things on Nike, he has it. So I think he's a trainer guy, regardless. Either way, I feel like there are some players that are signed to Nike that deserve a lot more respect. Sabalenka is someone where she is so marketable. She's so into fashion. She's so into beauty. She's so into different things. And my girl is wearing the same fit as everyone else on tour. And that's literally no disrespect. She should be like, you see how Osaka's coming in with her flower stuff and ideas.
Oh
I
yeah.
need to
Her.
get
Yep.
that with Sabalenka. But we all know why that's not the case, but we're not dealing with
I
that
think it's
today.
coming. I think
Yeah.
it's
But
coming though. I think it's coming with
it better
Sabalenka.
be coming, especially that now she's a different agency. So maybe,
Evolve. Shouts out to Osaka.
Yeah.
Exactly.
they're
Evolve.
gonna knock on the door. So we'll see. But you guys are too nice to Nike. Nike, come on. All the
One
money that you can
one
take it
other
from me.
thing. One other thing. I thought it was interesting that Robin Montgomery recently signed with Nike too. She moved from Fila to Nike.
Yeah, I was loving her at Fila. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah.
Because a lot of
I
the
was a little
fit
bit
like
disappointed because I feel like they would
same,
give her a little bit more special treatment than Nike would, but
same.
we'll
And not even
see.
just that, but she really looked nice with the fit. Because I remember her and Navarro saying not signed to Fila. And whenever I was seeing the differences, I'm like, it was looking nice on her. So please, Nike, treat my girl right.
They'll do her
Uh,
right, definitely. And she's
yeah,
young as well, like so she's gonna be
true.
around a long time for them to
She is.
kind of
But
yeah.
guys, I hope you guys enjoyed our pod from AO to Nike to everything else. Christian, thank you so much for joining us. Definitely won't be the last time that we'll have you on the pod. We're looking forward to having you more on the pod. Can you please share your socials and stuff, even though you're already the star here? But yeah, please let our listeners know where they can find you.
First, of course, I gotta thank Eugene and Lucy so much for having me on again. I really appreciate it. I had so much fun talking tennis, and it didn't even feel like we were like it just felt so natural. So I really appreciate it, and I appreciate everything y'all do because y'all really
Thank
do
you.
great things for the sport.
Mm.
I guess socials, I guess everywhere it's just Christian Court, CHRISTIANS, and then court. So yeah, that's where
Yeah,
y'all can
man. We
find
have, we
me.
have to keep we have to keep promoting ourselves. Promote,
Definitely.
say your stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining us, guys. There's still a lot of tennis, literally tournaments as we're speaking.
Linz, is it Linz?
We've
Singapore.
Linz in
got
Singapore.
Linz,
And then
Crazy.
the men are in
Singapore,
Montpellier.
Montpellier. So yeah, so you guys check that out. We shall
Don't
be
stop.
back.
Don't stop.
Don't start. But yeah, we should be back soon, the new pod, and we'll catch you guys another time.
Cheers, guys. Take care.